Well, voters in Senegal are electing their country's fifth president in polls that followed a period of political tension in the country. There are over 7 million registered voters in the country. The Sunday polls come after a prolonged electioneering season marred by violence, anti-government protests, and several postponements. 19 candidates are in the presidential race to replace incumbent Macky Sall, who will be stepping down after 2 terms in office. For the first time in Senegal's history, a sitting president is not on the ballot. Vote tallying will start immediately after polls close, and provisional results are expected by Tuesday. If none of the candidates gets 50% of the vote, there will be a runoff election. Well, Nick Mudimba is covering the election for us. He's joining us live now from Dakar. Nick, Senegalese are voting in the delayed presidential election. What is the situation where you are?
Absolutely, Beatrice. So as early as 6 a.m., most of the voters had already arrived at these polling stations. So I'm in central Dakar, in one of the largest polling stations in Senegal. And many of the voters are upbeat about what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, because now the results, according to the Electoral Commission, will be released after 24 hours. So they've been upbeat about the process. It started exactly at 8 a.m. local time, and that's how the Electoral Code stipulates that 8 a.m. the process should have started. Something else, Beatrice, is that most of them during this holy month of Ramadan, they want to finish it up very early and go back home and wait for the results to start streaming in. But so far, the process is seamless. Everyone is upbeat and excited about what's going to happen next here in Senegal, Beatrice.
Nick, so the process is proceeding smoothly, but how is the voter turnout and what are expectations for the day?
After the delays, of course, the morale of many voters here I spoke to was kind of down for quite some time. Months, postponements, clashes here and there. But right now, the turnout is convincing. And of course, over 50% are turning out. And this, as many analysts say, will be a very tight race between the 2 top contenders, and it might result to a runoff. So as it is, many are hopeful that indeed they might go just once and finish it all at once. But again, many are really hopeful that indeed the runoff will show how Senegal has matured democratically, because now this will be a test of time. After cancellations and all that, they're here in full numbers just to make sure they practice their democratic right. Beatrice.
Well, Nick, you do mention there that there's been a delay in that election. So what sort of challenges are there, if any, so far?
Yeah, so far, many of the observers are actually complaining that they've missed their streams, whereby the streams which they were allocated have been, their names rather, have been missing. So they're trying to find the streams in other polling stations. So this is one of the major challenges. And also some voters are saying that indeed after voting, the names are missing. No, after voting, there needs to be registered somewhere else that the names should be written. But those are teething problems which the Electoral Commission is saying that they'll indeed sort everything out, Beatrice.
All right, Nick Mudimba joining us there from Dakar following the Senegalese election. Well, Senegal is holding its delayed election today to vote for a successor to President Macky Sall, who is stepping down after 2 terms in office. Most Senegalese say they want to vote in a leader who will implement changes they feel are needed in the country. CGTN's Nick Mudimba takes up that story again.
Presidential candidates in Senegal kicked off their election campaigns following weeks of violent protests after the vote was delayed. The 19 approved candidates vying for the top job now have a shorter period to rally supporters ahead of the March 24th election as the country faces many internal challenges.
You know, Senegal has always been an example of democracy in the sub-region and internationally. But today we feel that Senegal's economic and social image is being totally undermined by political and social instability. This is due to what we call instability in the institutions. So today, whatever we may say about good governance, Senegal is suffering enormously. On the economic front, Senegal's economy is not resilient or strong enough. We have a market economy, an economy that depends on supply and demand. And these types of economy are not entirely resilient to external shocks, which means that today, if we have mood swings, they have a direct impact on our economic performance. Senegal as a whole has working days when we can create 80 to 85 billion CFA francs, and Dakar will polarize around 50 to 55 billion CFA francs. So if Dakar is in the red, the Senegalese economy is in the red. In terms of investment now, investors will never want to come to a country where there is political and social instability.
Youths make up the largest population, and according to some, issues such as cost of living, lack of jobs, immigration, and how to use Senegal's natural resources to benefit its citizens are among the concerns voters will hope candidates will raise.
You know, in Senegal, we have a predominantly young population, over 70% of whom are young. So young people have a very important role to play in these elections. So Senegal's young people will see their problems solved once and for all. Because we are facing problems such as unemployment and illegal immigration. Because young people are driven by a feeling of despair, which is pushing them out of the country. But presidential candidate Aliou Mamadia has reassured us through his program, because he has put young people, just like women, at the heart of his program.
As Senegalese get ready to choose the new leader on March 24th, they hope for changes and new opportunities amid major concerns. Nick Mudimba, CGTN.